Good morning, beautiful family in the light. So much love. So this is day 4 of Mr Mehboudi dropping in once again in my morning meditation prayer practice. So I just finished it off, and so what's interesting is, thank you so much for some of you who are following this, as Mr Mehboudi, who is a poet from spirit realm that made contact in Persian poet who made contact 4 days ago from spirit realm and began speaking his poetry. So some of you have noticed this was the first one that I wrote down as I heard him. This was the second one, day 3 I wrote down, and this is day 4. So it's quite fascinating. And before I read what he said today, so far the information that I have from him, he was from 5th century, and he said قرن پنج, and he's also from he said from the place called Nashat. I don't know what that is. So I started Googling some information yesterday. I can't find any information on him. There's actually no poet that is recorded from 1st century all the way to 9th century. The first recording of Persian poets begins from 9th century. So I believe this is somebody who's much more older, who is never known, who, Michael, just 1 second as I'm doing this video, who had never been known, or I'm going to shut the door 1 second. Sorry, I'm just going to shut the door. So who's, perhaps I'm going to bring some information about him. Now, what also some of you may know, that my Farsi is very limited. It's up to just 6th grade, and I've kind of been for 34 years away from not much speaking, hardly, and I'm really not part of the culture at all. And for those of you know, I'm a trans medium, trans channeler. I am a medium. I communicate in higher dimensional language from mostly the angelic and the archangels and ascended masters and the Elohim and higher councils and galactics and star brothers and sisters. So I really don't engage with 4th dimensional, 5th dimensional beings and spirit side. Although there are times like my grandmother drops in, I say hello, Michael's dad's been coming in, or my former spouse's father, but I don't typically utilize my mediumship in that level. So what is so interesting about this is that yesterday I shared with my mother, my mom has always kind of stayed away from this. She knows as a kid I was medium and I was interacting with spirit side, but she was always very uncomfortable with it. So I talked to her yesterday and I started reading the poetry. She's like, very interesting. Wow, very interesting. I said, okay. I said, why is it that you suddenly believe all these other things that I tell you, you don't, doesn't interest you? She said, well, because first of all, I know that's not your language. I know this is like at such a esoteric higher language that you can't even communicate, and I can't in Farsi speak it. And second, is very interesting this happened because I can see what is being said is so beautiful. So I believe this person is making contact with you, which was so beautiful, because now I can see it's like Mr Mehboudi is somehow coming in, because it is in poetry, and the Persians love poetry. They love their Hafiz and Khayyam and Ferdowsi, and it's a language of the heart. And I can speak at this higher dimensional language in English. It's not observed, but I can bring it through as he's speaking their poetry to me, and I can communicate it. Then somehow it's received, which is still very esoteric. So this is what he said today in Farsi. I'm going to attempt to say it, and whatever I can understand, I will translate. Mostly I cannot. خدمت دیگران مال هر کس نیست. To serve others is not the job of everyone. او که پنهاد طبیعت دارد. Something to do with nature. صدای جمعیت دارد. Has the voice of the collective. او که پیش رشته کهکشان هست. Something to do with the universe. کهکشان, I know that. ولان در مرقبه همیات هست. Sorry, the pronunciation I'm off. And then he turns to me, says to me, شما در سوره درخش هستی. You're in the pursuit of radiance. و شامل مکبت همنوان. I don't know what that means. در صبر خود خواهی پیاد. In the patience of yours, روزای بیزار. You find eternal peace, I think. The days of eternal peace, or without disturbance. سفل همت در جای خیبرات است. Clueless what that is. This is, he's now saying it to me. که محالج خواید شد صبرا. Something to do with the miracles or the healings. در تو رنج نباست عزیز خدا. He says to me, در تو, in your, در تو رنج means suffering, نباست عزیز خدا. He says, woo, he says, in you, suffering shouldn't be the dear of God, like the child of God or something. در همت رفا خواهی به وجود پیرا. He said در همت something liberation آمد, the walk of the light or something. I don't know. من خالی شدم از خیر تماس. He said, then he turns around, he says about him, he became empty, something to do with touch, being in touch. و با رزع شدم از مرکه نورا. Something he reached light. Then he says to me, تو ندانستی چرا قدرت شد بی نیاز. You don't know what the power became. I don't know what that means. پس از رفا کردی درد زمان. I released this word suffering, something like that. He's saying to me, آزاد شو, become free. Finally, I understand something. فروردگار, the great consciousness, من سوت آورم. من سویت آمدم. I came to you as رفیق قبل. Oh, so here he tells me I've known you in the past. که در ست باز, so your study is open, sure. که در ست باز شود راهی که نوید نوید بر آفت آزادی در دنیا. Sorry, it's a lot. I said, why do you speak to me in poetry? He said, آقای مهبودی چرا با من با شعر حرف میزنی؟ گفت شعر زبان قلب است. And that was it. So it's quite fascinating. Thank you so much for watching. It's definitely an area where it's not a comfort area for me to speak Farsi, and then at a scholar like universal level, but it is opening something within me also, this communication, and it's also bringing validation for finally for my family, especially like my mom. It was so she actually enjoyed it. She's like, wow, that's beautiful. I said, Mommy, spirit world is beautiful because they're so scared in general. The Iranian culture, they're very scared of spirit side. They don't believe in it. It's just so scared to them, and I'm a messenger of how beautiful it is, and I've experienced spirit side. It's so beautiful. There's nothing more ecstatic beauty that I can share when I had died and I experienced life on the other side before I was sent back. So it's quite fascinating. If anybody knows anything, share. It's beautiful being a medium and sometimes being able to interact sometimes like this. And it's also an area that I'm kind of don't interact because I prefer the higher dimensional realm. So it's a gift all around. I'm relaxing into it. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all the messages و خیلی ممنون از اینکه این در برای شما باز هست و به خودتون اجازه میدین یه مقدار اون تماس رو خودتون پیدا کنین با کسایی که توی روح هستن و واقعا چقدر زیبایی داره. خیلی ممنون، خیلی تشکر میکنم. مرسی. Much love. Thank you.